Hello, I hope you've been well. This is the Home Bakery Handbook. My name is Kristen, and I'm here to teach you everything that I know about running an efficient, profitable, and successful home-based bakery. Let's get right into it. Today we're talking about the Cottage Food Law. And I think it's an essential thing that every home bakery owner needs to know before planning anything else about their bakery. It will dictate the way that you plan your menu. It's going to dictate the way that you package your products, the way that you're allowed to sell things to the consumer. And yeah, so we're going to go over all of that today to make sure that you have at least a baseline understanding of what it is, and you'll know where to go in order to get the information that you need about the cottage food law in your area. If you're a beginner, this is definitely a great first step for you. You need to know what the law allows you to make from your home and sell to a consumer, to your customer. This is for the protection of the customer and the protection of your bakery. So this is definitely a very beginner step, but it's a very important first step. So essentially, the cottage food law is in place so that you're able to operate your bakery from home without ever being inspected, which sounds kind of, kind of shady. It is very hard to pass government inspections for a professional kitchen. There are a lot of strict guidelines, and at home, we have a lot of things around that would just instantly fail the kitchen, obviously. So they want to make sure that that's restricted and the government can't just come in and immediately close you down. So it's super important that you follow these rules in your area's cottage food laws so that the government doesn't have their foot in the door to be able to come and inspect your kitchen. It also serves to protect the public so that they know that at least the baseline criteria are being met, and the likelihood of anyone having or getting a foodborne illness from your products is very, very low. So it gives you some leeway so that they won't be coming into your kitchen and finding the smallest things to shut you down for, and they know that you're doing your best within those guidelines to make sure that you're not going to make anyone sick or worse. All of the rules fall into one of three categories: food safety practices, menu items, and transparency. You may be required to complete a food handler's course. In Texas, we have to have someone with a food handler certificate on duty anytime food is being prepared. Your state may have specific guidelines pertaining to packaging for food safety. Typically, this is to prevent contamination of the product while it's sitting out waiting for a purchase. You also may need to have specific labeling that warns customers of potential foodborne allergens and also gives them your contact information so that they know exactly where the food was made and who made it. So menu is really more about, food safety. So they don't want you serving foods that are potentially going to harm any of the public. So you won't be able, most likely, you won't be able to serve foods that would need refrigeration, such as cheesecakes. I live in the Dallas, Texas area, and cheesecakes and cream-based desserts and like pies with like curds and so on, those all need refrigeration. So we are not allowed to sell those here. There are certain pies that we can with like cooked fruits, but there's very specific guidelines. If you're selling cream-based things, that might not be allowed. But basically, I think that mainly boils down to refrigeration. They want to make sure that you're selling products that haven't been sitting out and going bad. By regulating this, there's much less of a chance of one of your customers getting a foodborne illness from a pastry that's just been sitting out too long with dairy in it, essentially. Recently, they did make changes to the rule that said that we could sell fruit items. They just can't be chopped or sliced, or the outer surface can't have been punctured in any way. So, for instance, we can now do chocolate dipped strawberries, which was not allowed before. We can do caramel or chocolate covered apples, but we can't put the stick into the top of them. So because it creates an opening for germs and so on to get into, and then at that point it would require refrigeration. It all goes back to refrigeration. The rules did change, and I think that change took place within the last 2 or 3 years or so. So it's super important that you keep up to date with your local laws. I would say probably check in yearly to make sure that you're still adhering to guidelines. Maybe they've taken something away, or you may be able to expand your menu if they've added more things that you're allowed to sell. So transparency, they want your customer to know where their product or where your baked good was made, essentially. For instance, in North Texas here, we are allowed to sell to customers, but it has to be face-to-face. We can have people sell like on our behalf, like if they work directly for our bakery, we can definitely have someone sell directly to the consumer in that way. But we couldn't, for instance, sell to a restaurant who then serves it to their patrons. It has to be like our business to the client. But that's one of the things that they want to make sure that they cover, is the consumer knows exactly who they're getting the product from. This also means that we're not allowed to make online sales. In North Texas, we're not allowed to ship products out. So if we were selling cookies on Etsy, for instance, we would not be able to ship across state lines. I think they did recently change those rules as well, where we can ship within the state, but because they can't ensure that we are adhering to other states' cottage food laws. They're like, okay, you can ship it, but it has to be within Texas. Like, don't get crazy. I think that did change recently for Texas, but again, make sure you're checking the laws that pertain to your area so that you can stay in that safety net. A lot of these rules feel restrictive, and it's a little disheartening, especially if you're a person who specializes in like the most amazing cheesecakes. It's a little disheartening. One way that you can get around these rules, which isn't really getting around them, is to hire a professional kitchen in your area. And essentially you would do all of your prep, all of your baking, all of your packaging and storage at this location. A lot of these locations have been popping up. People have been trying to find ways to make money from home. So those locations did grow tremendously. There's a lot more of them. So I highly recommend, if you really want to make a product that you don't think will fall under the safety net of the cottage food law, that you look into these local kitchens. You can typically rent them by the hour. And if you intend to go in and bake for a set amount of time every week, they'll give you a little bit of a discount, and that's kind of cool. When you rent from a commercial kitchen in that way, you're actually allowed to make whatever you want. There are no restrictions because the government is able to come in and inspect that kitchen. So as long as they're adhering to the guidelines, the kitchen will stay open and your product is safe. And it's really on them, They probably have cleaning rules where you have to clean up after you're done. But as far as keeping the whole kitchen compliant with health code standards, that's entirely on them. So you don't have that responsibility on your shoulders, and it actually frees you up a little bit. But you do have that added expense when it comes to running your bakery, which is, it's kind of a pros and cons list of reasons why that would be a good option for you. If you want to see the cottage food law guidelines that apply to your bakery in your area, I put a link in the description box below. You click it, it takes you to a list where you can find your state, and you can, whittle it down as needed, but it'll take you to a link to the best description of the rules and guidelines for your area. So you'll be able to get precise knowledge about the laws that will apply to your bakery. So this was my very first YouTube video for this channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys in future ones. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. You guys have a great day. Have a great week. I'll see you later. Bye.